I don't know who to trust. I'm loving it. I finished it. I'm not coping, but you know, if you couldn't tell, I'm very much enjoying it. That's like, I'm not okay. My heart. Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to the Dystopia Project, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be reading the Feverwake Duology by Victoria Lee. So, the Feverwake Duology, I'm just going to hold up the first one. This is a book I've read before, The Fever King, and I absolutely adored it. I read it in 2019? Yes, 2019, and I 5-starred it. I absolutely loved it. It is a dystopian duology, shock horror, following this character Gnome, set in this sort of dystopian future in like the 2100s-ish, where this disease is going around called magic. And if you get this disease, it normally kills you, but if you survive, you can end up with magical abilities. And it's really interesting, it's so political. Every character is horrifically morally grey and you don't know who to trust. But as I said, I have actually read the first book before and loved it, but I read it quite a while before the second book, The Electric Air, came out. And by the time The Electric Air came out, I didn't feel like I remembered this one well enough, because as I said, all the characters are so complex that there's quite a lot of detail. So I'm rereading it before reading the sequel. There are also 2 ebook novellas which have come out, which I'm going to be reading. I have them both on my Kindle, my iPad, so I'll be reading both of those as well. So I don't have too much to tell you at this point. This is just an introduction to this video. I will of course be talking about both of these books and the 2 novellas in this one video. I did start this last night. I have read a grand total of 12 pages. Yeah, I haven't read much of it yet. I'm really enjoying it. I may reread those 12 pages again because I read them at like 3 AM and I was more tired than I realised, but very much enjoying it. So excited to be back into this queer as hell dystopian world, and I guess I'll see you when I have more updates. Hello, so I think it's been about a week since I spoke to you, maybe, might be wrong, not sure when I last updated, but I am still reading The Fever King. I don't get to read during the weeks at the moment because of work, but I'm currently on page 128, which I got to last night, and I'm hoping to read maybe another 100 today. Then I have to take a day off because I need to read another book, and then I'll finish it on Sunday, because it's currently Friday, didn't tell you that. But I'm loving it. I remember why I loved this book so much. It's so complex, it's so clever, and it's completely different from anything else I've read. I don't know how Victoria Lee does it. It's like, it's a YA dystopian, and yet feels completely different from anything I've ever read, and it's absolutely fascinating. The one thing I think I've already mentioned is that it's a bit of a mind-bending book because you do not know who to trust or like who's telling the truth. I'm getting that earlier on this read than the last one because I vaguely remember like who you're not meant to trust, but already around the 130 mark, like those things are being put into question a lot. Whatever the main character knows is all you know, so you kind of have to go with them and trust them, but it's mad and it's so good, so well done. Obviously it's gay and it's starting to get gay and I'm loving that, but yeah, like all good dystopians should, it's giving really good commentary on a lot of current issues in a kind of sci-fi setting. And I'm loving it, but I need to keep reading because I really want to get this finished this weekend and I have like 250 pages left and not a lot of time. So I'm gonna go read. Okay, so a vlog update is in order. I think it's literally the day after I last updated you. I read the book I needed to read and we're back to The Fever King. I am currently on page 314 out of like 370, so I'm very nearly done with this book. I've been on reading sprints and so I've been reading it for the past few hours and I can't form coherent thoughts. My whole thoughts right now are just like, because I don't know who to trust. This book, I have read this before. I should know how this book resolved, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you know who to trust by the end of this book, but I feel like I should have some idea, and I have none. Everyone is betraying everyone, and there is drama, and I'm loving it. I am so obsessed with this book. I swear, I love it so much. Dara and Gnome are amazing. The like longing that we have had, and then them kind of getting together, but it's so filled with drama, and I'm very concerned about them, and just coherent thoughts are not a thing. But I'm like 50, 60 pages from the end of this, so I will be finishing this tonight. It's currently 11:15, but I'll probably be up to like 1. So hopefully I'll definitely get this done. And then, not on my January TBR, I will be picking up the Electric Air, which is unfortunately not as nice an edition as the Fever King. This is like really floppy and really like velvety and lovely. For some reason, this is just like really not. I mean, it's not awful. I'll cope. It has really nice white pages, but like this feels like a self-pub book, whereas this feels like a really nice American paperback. Don't know what happened. Just a publisher change, like as in like they changed the way they printed. Doesn't really matter. But I will be starting this evening. Hopefully finish it sometimes next week. It's 450, so it's a bit longer, and then I have the 2 novellas to read. I'm hyped. I'm not sure my heart and brain are going to cope, but I need to go back to the reading sprints and get reading. So I'm gonna go do that. I finished it. I'm not okay. I'm so glad I have this, because I don't know what I did last time without having the next book to read, honestly. I don't know how I survived like the 2 years, year and a half it's been. What the hell did I just read? I have too many thoughts and I don't know how any of them are going to be resolved, and I'm very, very stressed because I very much love these characters. I'm tearing up. Oh my god, I can't even begin to explain what happens in this because just the spoilers are unreal. I said, I think at the beginning, that this book is like a you can't trust anyone kind of book, and I remembered that was a thing, but oh my god, I did not remember how much it was, and the betrayals and the drama, and I'm not okay. Oh, I'll do a more coherent review of this tomorrow because it does also touch on really like relevant issues and really interesting topics and all of that, but right now I need to go start the sequel because I'm gonna die. This is so good. So good. Why do people not read this series? Read it, please. God damn, I need to read the second book. I'm gonna go read the second book right now. Like right now. Okay, so I've just been filming, hence the actual like nice lighting setup with a greasy face. Good. But let's try and do a slightly more coherent review of The Fever King. So as I've already said, this was a reread for me. I was anticipating really enjoying it, but I was also nervous. Now I've read a lot more adult stuff that a YA wouldn't hold up. By God, did it hold up. It was brilliant. This is so complex. It is so clever. The intrigue and the betrayal and the complexity is just phenomenal and so incredibly well done. And yeah, I loved it. Couldn't put it down. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to read the last 200 pages in one sitting because it really did deserve to be read in that kind of quick pace. It's so good. The commentary it has on so many important things such as immigration and power, kind of like dictatorships versus democracy, and so many things was fascinating. I think this would be such an important book for people to read. I'm glad it's a YA book because I feel like a lot of teenagers could learn a lot from this. Yeah, phenomenal. And no Madara had my whole heart. The like gay longing and slow burn romance broke me. When it started emerging just quite far in, I was like, oh, we're getting there, and it took so long, but I don't mind waiting. I could cope. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I'm really worried about spoiling this book because like the biggest draw is that you do not know who to trust, you don't know who is who, you don't know how it's all gonna come together, so I don't want to risk spoiling that for anyone, but it's phenomenal. And I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited you can probably check this out. Highly recommend. It is so good and I cannot wait to read The Electric Air now. Hello, so a bit of a sort of low energy vlog update. It's midweek. I've not vlogged midweek in a very, very long time and it's obviously busy because of work, but we're vlogging because I am reading, so I don't want to accidentally get like halfway through this book without updating you just because it's midweek. I have just hit page 107 of The Electric Air. My brain was dying within about 10 pages of this book. I obviously cannot tell you what happened because it's spoilery for book one, but I am not okay with the beginning of this book. Oh my, If I had to pick a single thing that at the end of book one I would have categorically said will not happen, and trust me, I would not say that about many things because these books are twisty as hell, but if there was one thing I had to say wouldn't happen, it would be exactly what happened at the beginning of this book. I can't believe it. Like, it kind of makes total sense, but I cannot believe it, and it's breaking my brain. But that was just like right at the beginning, and oh, it's breaking my heart since then. I'm not coping, but you know, if you couldn't tell, I'm very much enjoying it. It's currently like 9 p.m. I'm probably gonna head to bed around 11, so that's like a good 2 hours of reading. I can hope to get to like page 200 tonight, which would be really nice. I want to get this done by the end of the week, so I can read the 2 ebook novellas I have for this series, which I think I can read after the first book, but I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to read the second one, then read the ebook novellas, and then this vlog will be done. So that's exciting. I'm so excited to jump back into this, so I'm going to do that instead of talking to you for ages, but yeah, I'm loving it. And I do not think I am mentally prepared for what this book is going to do to me. But we're going to keep reading and find out, aren't we? Hi, so an even lower energy vlog update because it's currently about midnight. Sorry for the very yellow light. This is kind of the lamp in my room and it's really, really yellowy orange, but it's what we're going with for now. I can't bother to turn proper lights on. I have got to page 188. I have not managed 100 pages. I got very distracted by my phone today. I'm a bit tired, so reading for a long stint is very difficult, but I'm loving this so much. It is so intricate and well thought out and just exceedingly clever, which is exactly what I would expect, having read The Fever King, and The Fever King being exactly like this. But I am absolutely loving it. We're really getting into like the thick of it now, and really, because like you can see, I'm almost halfway through. I'm on page 188 out of like 470, I think, 450. So yeah, I'm like 60 pages off halfway. So I should get to halfway to, oh no, I won't get to halfway tomorrow. I'll get to halfway probably on Thursday. But yeah, I am absolutely adoring it. It's so, so complex, but I don't know how to say this, it's really, really well written so that it can be really complex. So it can have so much detail and so much intricacy, but it's never confusing. Like, I never feel like I don't know who someone is or how they fit in, or like, there's none of that. It makes perfect sense, it's completely followable with like this really high level of intricacy and complexity, which I think is exceedingly hard to do, and I really respect Victoria Lee for doing that. There's also a new character who I'm finding absolutely bloody hilarious. He's just not having a bar of any of the stuff going on. And it's really funny, but I'm not going to say who it is because obviously spoilers for the book. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. And I'm really excited about that because I've been wanting to read this book for a year and a half now, I think. It was been since I first read the first book. So I've been really nervous that it wouldn't live up to expectations, and with Victoria Lee coming out with another book later this year, I've been like really hoping that it's what I want. And it is, it's phenomenal. Obviously I still have like almost 300 pages left, like 280 pages left or something. So who knows, maybe it won't end where I want it to, but I'm pretty optimistic that I'm gonna love it. Also, I did look up the novellas. One of them is a prequel to the whole series, and the other one is kind of comes after in the second book. So I'm gonna wait and read them both at the end, because I don't really want to read one in the middle of reading the second book. I mean, I could. I think it's the main antagonist's sort of backstory. So it'd be very interesting to read that, because we get hints of it throughout the books, but I would like to read more. But that's not a topic for right now, because I'm not reading those till the weekend. So yeah, almost halfway through, loving it. I'm gonna go to bed because I have work in 7 hours. And I need to be up significantly before then so that I can prep everything before starting. It's an early start tomorrow. Normally I start at 8 and I start at 7:30 tomorrow, but I want to be up at 7:15 to do stuff. But you don't care about that. This is a reading vlog. You can tell I'm tired because I'm rambling. I'm gonna go to bed. I will catch you when I've read some more. Hello, so it is Friday evening. I am currently on page 202 of The Electric Hair. So I've not read very much more since I last spoke to you. I'm still loving it. The complexity is still incredible. Everything I'm going to say at this point is just going to be the same as things I've already said. It is really, really getting into the thick of it now. I've got 260 pages left, and God, I'm so scared but so excited. My hope is to finish this today. It's currently, I don't know what time it is, my phone's down here. It's currently 6:30 in the evening, 6:30. And sprints are starting at 7 on Jade's channel from JDA Reads, which I will be joining, of course. And normally I read about 50 pages an hour on sprints if we're doing long sprints like we've been doing recently of like 40, 45 minutes, which means in 5 hours I could finish this, which takes us to midnight, and like we'll be going till midnight because we always do. So there's a pretty decent chance I'll finish this today, and then hopefully I can read the 2 ebook novellas tomorrow, if not this evening if I'm really feeling it. And oh God, I'm so excited. I'm so nervous to finish this book. After the way this book started, I no longer trust Victoria Lee to end it how I want to. I'm really hoping for a happy ending, but I'm not sure I trust that's gonna happen. This book generally does not hold any punches. It goes into a lot of things in a really dark way, in a really realistic way. And I feel like that realism might play out and it's not gonna have a happy ending, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. But we're gonna have to keep going and find out. So I'm gonna do that because I really, really wanna try and get this done today if I can. Hello, so I'm currently on some reading sprints, but I thought I'd give you an update because it is definitely looking like I'm gonna finish this tonight, and if I'm not careful, I won't update you until I've finished it. So I'm currently on page 344. It's so hard to give thoughts at this point without spoiling it. Obviously, there's a lot of complexity. It is fascinating. It is so clever. It's really getting to end game. Now I've got just over 100 pages left, and I guess the last maybe 30 to 50 pages have been, I don't want to say chill because nothing about this book or series is chill, but like more reserved almost, which I feel like is a precursor to like Calm Before the Storm kind of vibe. I really feel like it's kind of the final moment of calm before everything kicks off, and I'm about to break as a human, I think, because Gnome and Dara, I love them so much, and I am so scared about what is going to happen to them. I just want the best for them. I want good things, and I don't feel like they're going to get good things. I feel like at least someone is going to end up very sad, and that someone is almost certainly going to be me. So we are concerned, but I have just over 100 pages left. It's currently 11:30 at night, so I'll probably be up to like 2 maybe finishing this, but I don't care. I can do that. It's a Friday night. Yes, loving it. Like absolutely loving it. Possibly not quite as much as the Fever King, but I feel like that's what I'm feeling right now, simply because we're in a little bit of a like slow patch comparatively. But I don't mind that. I'm actually really enjoying the kind of roller coaster of having these slow bits, because I feel like it's going to make the impact of the ending that much more heartbreaking. And I will say, like, the amount I'm invested in this book is ridiculous. Like the faces I am pulling, the amount of things I'm thinking, like I'm so invested in these characters and this book. And that's just quite amazing. So I'm gonna go, I say finish this, over the next few hours finish this, and I may or may not update you before that point. We'll see. That's like, I'm not okay. My heart. I'm trying to work out what I can say that doesn't spoil this, because obviously I don't want to spoil it, but basically I said that it feels like we're in a precursor to sort of the ending. Oh my god, I don't even have the words. As you would expect for a moment like that, we had like a happy moment, and it's just breaking my heart because I know that at least for the next like 70 pages it's gonna be misery. But they're so happy. They're so happy right now, and I just want them to be happy. This book, if I get to the end of this book without either crying or screaming, I'm gonna be astonished. Oh, I'm gonna go straight back in and try and find out what happens. This book is giving me trust issues. I am so concerned. I am 40 pages from the end. 40 pages! I'm definitely gonna finish this, like, in the next hour or so. And just had such an adorable scene. Like, such... Ooh, I just lost my page. 1 minute. And just had such an incredibly adorable and touching scene And there was a line, which I'm not going to read because obviously spoilers, but it's one of those, and for that moment, they thought it could be possible kind of lines, and it's just, that gives me trust issues, because if they're saying like, oh, they thought it was possible that moment, that means it's not going to happen. This book is going to be the death of me, I swear to God. But yeah, 40 pages. I'm ready to die. That's about all I've got to say. Wish me freaking luck. I finished it. I love it. I love it so much. There's no question this is a 5-star. I mean, we knew this when I started it. Phenomenal. So phenomenal. Honestly, just so good. Yeah, I feel like it was the brilliant mix of a really, really satisfying ending. Like, everything was wrapped up and everything that needed to be dealt with was dealt with. I can't say too much because spoilers, but it was very realistic as well. Possibly a little bit quick. Could have done with an extra like 10 pages slipped into the like last 20-ish maybe. Just felt like it kind of really paced through some things which I would have liked to see a little bit more of. But everything that needed to be said was said, and it was done incredibly well. The expertise required to wrap up this much complexity in this many characters in such a short time and do it effectively and satisfyingly is extremely impressive. I, even more so in this book than the first one, am so unbelievably impressed by Victoria Lee's writing, and her skill is just honestly extraordinary. I don't know what other thoughts I have. I feel like I'm going to need a while to process this. I'm probably going to start the ebook novella today. I can't decide whether to read the prequel one first or the kind of sequel one first. I kind of want to read the sequel one because I think it's a bit happier than the prequel one, which I think is going to be pretty dark, and I'm not sure I'm feeling that at 2 a.m. So might read that today, read the other one tomorrow, and maybe give some more thoughts on this when it's actually sunk in. So I think I'm going to go and read, I don't even know what it's called, let me get it. Okay, it's called The Stars and Everything in Between. I'm gonna read that now. It's 38 pages and like 38 Kindle pages or 38 pages? 38 pages. So I'll probably read that before I sleep, I'd imagine. And then gonna go to bed, read the other one tomorrow and give you more thoughts. So hopefully I enjoy this. I don't actually know much about it. I think I know who it follows, but I'm not going to say, because obviously it's a sequel, so it kind of spoils who is around at the end of the book. I'm not going to say more than that, but I'm going to do that, and I will probably update you tomorrow, because it's kind of late, and I'm kind of tired. Hi, so it is the next day. I'm here to update you. I've got a different book there. I finished reading The Stars and Everything Between yesterday, which is the novella which comes after the series. It was really good fun. I'm not going to say obviously too much about who's in it and what it's about because it spoils the end of the series, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was exactly what I felt the end of The Electric Hair needed. I mentioned in my earlier update that I thought it needed like an extra 20 or 30 pages because it was just a bit too quick, and there was like a few bits I felt like it would have been nice to spend a bit more time on. And I feel like this massively fixed that, which I really appreciate. So very, very glad to have read that. And then I started reading The Traitor's Crown today, which is the backstory of the antagonist. I have read 20% of it, so I've got like 60 pages left. It's longer, it's an 80-page novella. It's very interesting. I am really intrigued to read more of this. From what I've read so far, I would really not suggest reading this before you read the 2 books, even though it is a prequel, because a lot about this antagonist, you don't know why they're, the way they are and why they act the way they do until certain reveal points in the series. But obviously, if you read this novella, it tells you a lot of that. So my suggestion would be wait till after to read it, but I'm very excited to finish it. And then that will be probably the end of this video. I will do a full wrap up at the end of like my thoughts properly on the series, though I mean overall I love it, of course I do. The other thing I was considering doing is there is a webcomic of The Fever King. I don't know if it's just the first book or if it's the whole duology. I'm definitely going to read that at some point. I was going to try and do it in this video, but I don't think I will because I mean it's the same story and I've read some of it before and it's gorgeous and extremely well done. So would recommend that if you want a different way of reading this series, because that is also amazing. I may try and read it quickly tonight, but I don't think I'll have time, so probably not. But for now, I need to go finish this novella and then do my final wrap up. Hello, so I've just finished the final novella in the Feverwake series, and so it's time for a wrap up. So to kind of very quickly wrap up through all of them and with ratings, we are starting with The Fever King by Victoria Lee, which I gave 5 stars. This is the first book in the official duology. I love it. I gave my thoughts pretty well in detail whilst I was reading this. It's phenomenal. The concept is so incredibly clever, and I have so much respect for the way the author wrote this. It is so incredibly done. The characters are so well built up. The world is so amazing. I think it's such a novel dystopian idea. I feel like a lot of dystopias either have a pandemic that kills people, or the pandemic that makes kind of zombies, or it's all based in reality with technology that's kind of feasible. I love that this was just straight up magic, so it was almost more fantastical than a lot of dystopians. I thought it was really novel and really cool. 5 stars, loved it, we know this. Then moving on to The Electric Air, which I'll try and give some coherent thoughts for because I've edited the first part of this vlog and it's literally just me crying over this book. I love this. It was 5 stars again. It was amazing. It was a lot slower in pace than The Fever King, but I think that comes from the added complexity. There was even more complexity and betrayal and morally grey characters in this one, and I feel I appreciate the fact that this was a little bit slower because it gave time for all of that to sink in whilst I was reading it, and I feel I would have missed the character development and some of the really hard-hitting moments if this one was super fast-paced. I actually really, as I said, appreciated that kind of breathing space in the book. I think it added a lot, so I'm very glad for it. Again, the characters are utterly phenomenal in this book. I think between all of these books, the characters are what really shine through, alongside, as I've already said a million times, the complexity in the way it is handled. So it's not confusing, and so it's really manageable. It's incredible, and I have so much respect for Victoria Lee and what she's created. It's just phenomenal, and I don't really know what else to say for this. The one thing I will actually say for the whole series, I kind of mentioned this right at the beginning of the vlog, is the kind of social commentary in this was phenomenal. It's something I particularly love in dystopians, is social commentary, and it's quite a common running theme in dystopian books, is they often take one to a few parts of society that are possibly problematic already and amplify that hugely and then comment on it in this almost fantasy setting, and I love when they do that. These did that so much and so well. So much talk about immigration and sort of citizenship rights and stuff. So much talk about just oppression and othering and so many things. A lot of discussion about consent and power and how power plays into the topic of consent. That reminds me, I cannot stress highly enough when recommending these books, there are a lot of trigger warnings. I know there are content warnings in the back of the second one. I'm just going to check if there are in the first. Okay, so there's not content warnings listed in the first book, but there are in the second one. I will just read it quickly. It says, this book contains depictions of sexual assault and child abuse. It also contains domestic violence, refers to suicide, and depictions of eating disorders and substance abuse. For more detailed information, visit the author's website, which I will link the author's website in the description of this, so you can do that. I cannot stress highly enough, please check trigger warnings for these books before reading them. There is a lot of very graphic scenes. I don't think you ever see a rape scene, but there's a lot of talk about it as it's very key to the characters and the plot, and just please go very carefully if some of these things can be upsetting for you. I think that list covers most of it. I don't want to attempt to list everything because, especially as they're not triggers for me, I do worry that it won't have flagged as something that I need to mention and I may miss them. Please check out the author's website. They've got them listed on there. I trust them to know best what the triggers are for their own book. So I will, as I said, link that down below. Please check that out before reading these books. But then, the 2 novellas. So the first that I read was The Stars and Everything in Between, I think. Yeah, that's right, Stars and Everything in Between, and this is a sequel to the series. It was super cute. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I already said this, I think it really filled that very slight gap I felt was left at the end of the second book, so I'm very grateful for that. I think I gave most of my thoughts on this one previously though, so I don't have much else to say. And then The Traitor's Crown, I actually found a little bit disappointing. I will admit I've had a really hard day today and I was exhausted yesterday, so I haven't read it in the best circumstance, but compared to the rest of this series, it didn't do that much for me. I feel like it did give an interesting insight to the antagonist's backstory, but I feel like we'd seen so much of it in the books it didn't add that much, and there's another quite key character in it who I just didn't connect with at all. Like, not connect in that way because they're all evil, but you know, you don't feel interest in, I suppose. It just didn't really do it for me. I think it's probably like a 3.5 star, but that's fine. It's, you know, it's one small novella, and both of those are available for like £1 or £2, I think, on Kindle. They were originally released as the pre-order campaign for the second book, and that's what they were originally written for, but then a few months after the second book came out, the author did release them on Kindle, so you can read them even if you didn't do the pre-order campaign, which I'm really grateful for, because although I'd read the first book before the second one came out, I'm rubbish and unorganised and forgot to pre-order the second one, and so couldn't apply for the pre-order campaign, and so didn't get them, but I was really glad that they did become available so I could read them. I think that covers pretty much everything I have to say about this series. It is a new favourite series for me. I say new favourite, it's kind of new. This has been a favourite for years, but as a whole series, now I've read it, it's definitely a favourite. I could not recommend it highly enough if it's something that you think would be good for you. It's just phenomenal, honestly, and it's just made me so much more excited for the rest of Victoria Lee's work. I know the book they have coming out this year isn't dystopian, it's like dark academia, I think, but I'm hyped anyway. And yeah, if you're looking for an LGBT amazing dystopian series, and it's only 2 books long, so super easy to get through, fast paced, will blow your brain, this is the series for you, and I could not recommend it highly enough. But after a long time, I think that is the end of this video. This is my first time doing a video that spans such a long time, and it's gonna be shorter than a lot of the rest in this series. But thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. This is obviously the first part of the Dystopia project, and there's a lot more coming throughout 2021, so keep an eye out for that. That is it for the video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below if you've read this series, or if you think of going to read this series. I would love to know, because honestly, it's like my life's mission now to just push this series on more people. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. Links to all of my social media, as well as all the read-alongs and book clubs that I host, are linked down in the description below, as they always are, in case you want to check anything else out. Part of that is the Dystopia book club I am hosting this year, called Burned Books Club, so more dystopia if you want it. But I think that's it for the video, so bye, and I'll see you in the next one.